Okay, so here's a thought. What if the best superhero show on TV right now isn't from Marvel or DC? That's exactly what Invincible has been proving season after season.
Oh, that's such a good point. It's wild how Invincible has carved out this space for itself, especially when you think about how saturated the superhero genre is right now. What do you think makes it stand out so much?
I think it's the way it balances everything. Like, it's not just about the action or the gore, though there's plenty of that. It's the storytelling, the character development, and the way it subverts expectations. You think you're getting one thing, and then it completely flips the script on you. And now that season 3 is over, it feels like the show has really hit its stride.
Absolutely. And I feel like the timing of this conversation is perfect because everyone's ranking the seasons now that we've got three to compare. So, where do we even start with this? Should we go in reverse order and build up to the best?
Yeah, let's do that. So, season 2. It's pretty much the consensus weakest season, but I want to stress that weakest doesn't mean bad. It's just that when you stack it up against seasons 1 and 3, it doesn't quite hold up. And honestly, a lot of that comes down to the mid-season break.
Oh, the break was such a killer. The first half aired in late 2023, and then we had to wait until March 2024 for the second half. By the time those last episodes dropped, the momentum was just gone. It's like the hype had evaporated.
Exactly. And the first half of the season didn't help either. The opening episodes were fine, but they didn't feel essential. They were more like filler, with Mark dealing with smaller threats that didn't tie into the larger story until much later. It wasn't until Angstrom Levy came back into the picture that things started to pick up.
And even then, it felt like the season was juggling too much. It had to wrap up loose ends from season 1, set up new storylines for season 3, and introduce new characters like Oliver. Plus, the whole subplot with Mark and Amber's relationship felt like it dragged on longer than it needed to.
Yeah, it definitely had that middle chapter syndrome. But I will say, when the season did hit its stride, it was great. The developments with Omni-Man and the Viltrumites were compelling, and Angstrom Levy turned out to be a fantastic antagonist once he was fully established. It's just that the season as a whole didn't have the same cohesion or urgency as the others.
That's fair. And honestly, even with its flaws, season 2 still had some standout moments. The voice acting, the mature tone, and the way it expanded the world of Invincible were all really strong. It's just that when you compare it to seasons 1 and 3, it doesn't quite measure up.
Exactly. So moving on to season 1, this is where it all began, and honestly, what a way to start. That first episode alone, Omni-Man's betrayal and the massacre of the Guardians of the Globe, was one of the most shocking and unforgettable moments in recent TV history.
Oh, 100%. That scene was such a bold statement of intent. It was like the show saying, "This isn't your typical superhero story. Buckle up." And it worked. It hooked people immediately.
It really did. And what's interesting is that the first few episodes after that were actually pretty standard as far as superhero stories go. But the shock of Omni-Man's betrayal and the anticipation of what he was really up to carried those episodes.
Exactly. And then, from episode 5 onward, the show just hit its stride. The fight with Battle Beast and Machine Head, the reveal of Omni-Man's heritage, the final confrontation between Mark and Omni-Man, it was all just so well done.
The Mark and Omni-Man dynamic is what really elevated season 1 for me. That central rivalry was so compelling, and it gave the season a strong emotional core. Plus, the animation was top-notch. I know the animation quality has been a point of contention in later seasons, but season 1 really set a high bar in that department.
It did. And I think that's part of why some people might rank season 1 above season 3. It's not just nostalgia, it's the fact that it introduced us to this world and these characters in such a powerful way. But as good as season 1 was, I think season 3 edges it out.
I agree. Season 3 is just on another level in terms of storytelling. It feels like everything the show has been building toward finally came to a head. The stakes were higher, the characters were more developed, and the action sequences were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and the pacing was so much better than in season 2. Every episode felt essential, and the final 2 episodes were just wow. The Invincible War in episode 7 was a game changer, and then the introduction of Conquest in the finale? That was next-level stuff.
Conquest is such a fascinating villain. He's not just evil for the sake of being evil. There's a complexity to him that makes him really compelling. And the fight between him and Mark was brutal. It was dark, it was intense, and it was exactly the kind of climactic showdown you want from a season finale.
Totally. And I think that's what sets Season 3 apart. It's not just about the big moments, though there are plenty of those. It's about how all the pieces fit together. The character arcs, the action, the themes, it all just clicks.
Exactly, and even the weaker episodes like episode 5 still had important developments that paid off later. It's rare for a show to be this consistent, especially 3 seasons in.
So, final rankings, Season 3 at the top, followed by Season 1 and then Season 2.
Agreed, but honestly, all 3 seasons are worth watching. Invincible is one of those rare shows that keeps you hooked from start to finish, no matter which season you're on.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Here's hoping Season 4 continues the trend.